the provincial election less than 1 week away, we're helping to get to know the major party leaders as they campaign for your vote. We're joined now by Liberal leader Kathleen Wynne. Again, good morning.
Pleasure.
We had Andrea Horwath in. Tim Hudak is still to come in as well. Let's get right to it. And the big issue, and I don't even have to say it, do I? Is the gas plant cancellation.
I was going to say jobs.
Well, that is a big issue. But right now, what's on everyone's mind is our $1 billion. You've said sorry. I have heard that. But let me give you a bit of an analogy. Let's say one of my kids takes $20 from my wallet and then later on comes back and says sorry. Well, I would accept the apology, but there's some penance to be had. There is a punishment to be had. What is the punishment here?
Well, so here's the thing. You're right. It goes beyond saying sorry. It goes beyond just acknowledging, all of which I have done. There has to be change, and so that's what I've done, Kevin. Is I've made sure that we change the rules, that we actually put in place structures and laws. Quite frankly, we had introduced legislation. The government didn't continue because we're in an election, but we had introduced legislation. We had changed the process around citing gas plant energy infrastructure, around the rules around document retention. So we have learned from what happened. Doesn't mean it should have happened, you know? Still not a good thing that it happened, but we have learned from it and made changes. And those changes are what will ensure that it won't happen again.
What have you learned from Tuesday night's debate? I mean, you saw what happened in the polls that were conducted afterwards, is that you did lose some voters. What would you have done or said differently?
Well, actually, I made a very clear decision when I went into the debate. I knew it was going to be tough, and I knew that there was going to be lots of critique coming at me from both sides. But I made a decision to lay out my plan for the people of the province. You know, Andrea Horwath and Tim Hudak have had a chance to hear my plan, and really it was about talking to the people of Ontario and not getting into a fight with them, because that's not what it was about. For me, it was about making sure that people in Ontario could hear me talk about the investment that I believe needs to be done in our talent and in our skills, and our investment in infrastructure, including transit and roads and bridges, and creating a business climate that will bring jobs to the province, because that's the plan I'm bringing to the people of Ontario. And the pundits will determine, you know, what happened at the debate. I know that I needed to talk to the people of the province.
We've got your campaign promises up here, and believe me, I don't want to gloss over the $1 billion and the gas plant. We have you for such a short time, so I encourage folks to get in touch with you and get in touch with their candidate as well.
With less than a week to go, there's nothing but attack ad messaging that's being sent out for the most part. So it's good to focus on what you actually do want to accomplish.
Well, and you know, one of the ads that we've got running right now is about our education accomplishments and the importance of education in making sure that we have a strong economy going forward. So I think you're right, Dina, there's a very important positive message that people need to hear.
I'm worried about the transparency of our government. We had the gas plant scandal. Seemingly things were done behind closed doors, and then there's some indication that people tried to cover up some tracks. The OPP are investigating that right now. But
so that's an ongoing investigation. But you know, I've taken action even in advance of that investigation.
Let's talk about the Mars Research Building then, and we're hearing yet another scandal coming up. And again, we find out about deals that seemingly have gone on behind closed doors.
That was a very different situation, because that was a real estate transaction that was in process. It hadn't been completed, so it was something that we were in the process of finalizing. The Tories and the NDP decided that there needed to be an election, and so that real estate transaction was not complete. So that was a process that, and the documents that were released, the confidential documents that were released before the meeting that they were supposed to be discussed. So you know, it was a very different situation.
But the Ring of Fire deal still has not been finalized either, and yet we seem to know more about that. More was released about that, and that's what a lot of critics are comparing.
Well, the Ring of Fire, so when you mean we've made a commitment to build infrastructure so that we can access that huge chromite and mineral deposit in Northern Ontario. That's about making an investment. That's a commitment that we have made. That's not a real estate transaction.
But the transaction itself, though, it has not been finalized yet, or it's not.
You're talking about the investment of $1 billion?
But it was not, it was released before it was even finalized. And what I'm saying is, I want the transparency, and I want to send you a warning, and I want to send a warning to any politician out there. That's our money.
Absolutely. But you want that money invested in a way. You want real estate transactions to be completed in the best way possible. You want your money spent well, and so you want to make sure that those transactions are done with integrity, and when it is the time for everyone to have the information, they have the information. And that's what I want too, which is why when I came into this office, I opened up the process around the gas plants. I made sure that documents that had been asked for were provided, and I changed the rules, particularly around the retention of documents, because that's one of the big issues, right? What documents should be kept and what shouldn't be, and what should be public and what shouldn't be. So we're changing the rules around that, and that is, it's very important to me, Kevin. The reason I got involved in politics was to advance the public good. You know, that's why my platform and my plan is what it is. It's about building the province. It's about making sure that kids have the education that they need, making sure that our elders have the health care and support that they need when they need it, and that businesses have a partner in government.
Okay, we have to move on right now. We're gonna be talking to Kathleen Wynne in just a little while, but later we're gonna get to know the woman, because I think that's always important as well. The woman behind the name.
And remember, Election Day is Thursday, June 12th, less than a week away. Get out and vote. For more information on Kathleen Wynne and the Liberal Party, visit OntarioLiberal.ca. Getting to know the lighter side right after this short messaging.
All right, so we'll have more with Kathleen Wynne in a short time.